The worst part about being invisible is when people look right through you, even at your own mother's birthday party. Even when you're the one who spent 3 days preparing everything, from the hand-rolled spring rolls to the intricately decorated cake that nobody bothered to photograph. I'm Luna, and I've mastered the art of fading into the background at family gatherings. Tonight was no different, except it was the night that changed everything. Mum, did you see what Uncle Dwayne brought? My daughter Emma tugged at my sleeve, pointing at the massive wrapped gift in the corner. Of course, my brother had to outdo everyone else with what looked like a 65-inch TV. That's nice, sweetie, I said, adjusting the wilting flower arrangement that nobody had noticed I'd spent hours on. Luna, honey, could you grab more ice from the garage? My mother called from across the room, not even looking in my direction. She was too busy fawning over Dwayne, who was holding court in our living room, regaling everyone with his latest tech company acquisition. And that's how we closed the deal at $50 million, Dwayne's voice boomed. The future of tech is all about innovation and bold moves. I grabbed the ice bucket, my knuckles white against the plastic. As I passed through the living room, Sarah, our family friend, touched my arm. Luna, those spring rolls are amazing, just like your grandmother used to make. Before I could thank her, Dwayne cut in. Speaking of bold moves, where's that computer engineering degree of yours taking you these days, little sister? Still just playing house? The room fell quiet. Even the kids stopped their chatter. I'm raising my daughters, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Someone has to be there for the next generation of innovators. Dwayne laughed, that condescending chuckle that made me want to throw the ice bucket at his head. Right, because that's exactly what your degree was meant for, packing lunches and driving carpool. Dwayne, our sister Freya warned, but he was on a roll. I mean, let's be honest, Luna. You had potential once, but you chose to waste it. Not everyone's cut out for the tech world. Some people are meant to stay in the shallow end of the pool. My mother chuckled nervously. Oh, Dwayne, you're terrible. Luna, where's that ice? I stood there, ice bucket frozen in my hands, as my 10-year-old daughter looked up at me with confused eyes. In that moment, something snapped. You know what, Dwayne? I set the bucket down with a thud. You're right. Not everyone's cut out for the tech world. Some people need to buy their way to the top, acquiring other people's innovations because they can't create anything themselves. The room went dead silent. Dwayne's face darkened. Luna, my mother gasped. Apologize to your brother right now. I looked around the room. At my mother's horrified expression, at Sarah's sympathetic glance, at Freya's subtle nod of approval, and finally at my daughter's wide eyes. I'm sorry, I said, picking up the ice bucket again. I'm sorry I let you all think I was nothing more than a glorified housewife for so long. That's about to change. I walked out to the garage, my heart pounding. Through the door, I could hear Dwayne's dismissive laugh. See what I mean? Always so emotional. That's why she could never hack it in tech. In the dim garage, surrounded by boxes of Christmas decorations and outgrown baby clothes, I pulled out my phone. With trembling fingers, I scrolled through my contacts until I found the name I was looking for. Ingrid Flores, my old college roommate and the most brilliant coder I'd ever known. Hey, Ingrid, it's Luna. Remember that app idea we talked about at the reunion last year? The one you said could revolutionize how people connect? I'm in. All in. There was a pause on the other end. Are you sure? Last time we talked, you said the timing wasn't right. I looked back at the door where I could still hear Dwayne holding court. The timing's perfect now. How soon can we meet? I can do tomorrow morning. Coffee at the grind. Perfect. I hung up and filled the ice bucket, a smile playing at my lips for the first time that evening. When I returned to the party, Dwayne was opening his gifts, making a show of each one. I set the ice down and watched as my mother opened the massive TV he'd brought, exclaiming over his generosity. But I barely saw it. In my mind, I was already coding, planning, building something that would make them all sit up and take notice. Something that would force my brother to eat his words. My daughter tugged at my sleeve again. Mum, are you okay? I looked down at her, seeing in her eyes the same spark of curiosity and determination I used to see in my own reflection. I'm better than okay, sweetie. I'm about to show Uncle Dwayne exactly what the shallow end of the pool can do. The grind was already buzzing with morning coffee seekers when I spotted Ingrid at our usual corner table. She hadn't changed much since college. Same intense eyes, same habit of drumming her fingers when she was excited about an idea. "You look like you're on a mission," she said as I sat down, two laptops already open in front of her. "More like a warpath," I replied, pulling out my own notebook. "Remember when we talked about creating an app that could predict and prevent technical failures before they happen?" Ingrid's eyes lit up. The Preventive Maintenance AI. Luna. That could revolutionize how companies handle their infrastructure. But the algorithm would need to be perfect, I finished. "I know, and I've been working on it," she raised an eyebrow. While raising two kids, I pulled out my tablet and showed her the preliminary coding I'd been tinkering with during late nights after the girls went to bed. Turns out insomnia and revenge are great motivators. Ingrid scrolled through my work, her eyes widening. "This is actually brilliant. You've created a basic framework that could learn from historical failure patterns, but we'd need massive amounts of data to train it properly. I might have a solution for that," I said, taking a sip of my coffee. "Remember Sarah from my brother's company? She heads their data department, and she's been dropping hints about their maintenance issues for years. The same brother who inspired this revenge coding session? The very same." Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Family dinner tonight. Don't be late like last time." Ingrid saw my expression change. "Let me guess. Family obligations. They still think I'm just playing house," I said, my voice tight. "Even my mum. Yesterday, she told me I should be grateful Dwayne gives my daughters such nice birthday presents, since I can't afford much on my own." "Then let's prove them wrong." Ingrid turned her laptop around. "Look at these market projections. Companies lose billions annually due to preventable technical failures. If we can create an AI that predicts these failures, we could save them millions," I finished, feeling the familiar excitement of a challenging project. "But we'd need funding, infrastructure." "Leave that to me," Ingrid said. "I've got connections from my time at Silicon Valley, but Luna, are you sure you're ready for this? It's going to be intense." Before I could answer, my daughter Emma's face appeared in the coffee shop window, pressed against the glass. My other daughter Lily waved frantically beside her. "Mom, we finished soccer practice early." They burst into the cafe, still in their uniforms. "Girls, this is my friend Ingrid," I said as they bounded over. "We used to code together in college." "You code?" Emma's eyes went wide. "But Uncle Dwayne said—" "Uncle Dwayne doesn't know everything," I cut in, perhaps too sharply. "Actually, Ingrid and I are working on something pretty exciting." "What is it?" Lily peered at the laptops. Ingrid smiled and turned her screen toward them. "See these patterns? We're teaching computers to predict when other computers might break, so we can fix them before they do." "Like when my tablet knew its battery was going to die?" Emma asked. "Exactly like that. But for big companies with thousands of computers," I said, watching their faces light up with understanding. "That's so cool," Lily exclaimed. "Can we help?" I looked at their eager faces, then at Ingrid. "Actually, yes. How would you girls like to be our first test users? We'll need people to try out the app once we build it." "Will Uncle Dwayne use it too?" Emma asked innocently. Ingrid caught my eye, a slight smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, I have a feeling your Uncle Dwayne will definitely be interested in what your mum creates." After dropping the girls at home, I returned to find Ingrid had already drafted a basic project timeline. "We can have a prototype in 3 months," she said. "But Luna, you'll need to be all in. No holding back." I thought about Dwayne's smirk at yesterday's party, about my mother's dismissive attitudes, about my daughter's amazed faces when they saw what I could do. "I'm all in," I said, pulling my laptop closer. "But let's make it 2 months. I want to be ready before Dwayne's big merger announcement." "Now that's the Luna I remember from our coding competitions," Ingrid grinned. "The one who always found a way to shave time off her algorithms." We worked until the sun started setting. the coffee shop emptying around us. My phone buzzed again. Another reminder about family dinner. Go, Ingrid said, waving me off. Keep up appearances, I'll start setting up our development environment. As I gathered my things, she caught my arm. Luna, just remember, the best revenge isn't just success, it's success they never saw coming. I smiled, thinking of my brother's condescending laugh. Oh, they won't see this coming. Not until it's too late to stop it. Walking to my car, I felt lighter than I had in years. The path ahead would be challenging, but for the first time since college, I felt truly alive. The code was flowing through my mind again, and this time, I wouldn't let anyone tell me to stay in the shallow end. Mom, your laptop is making weird noises again, Emma called from the kitchen table, where she was supposedly doing her homework. That's because it's running complex calculations, I explained, not looking up from my screen. The prototype was coming along faster than expected, but we still had bugs to fix. My phone buzzed. Freya, where are you? Mom's having a fit that you missed Sunday brunch. Again? I glanced at the clock. 2:30 p.m. Damn. Girls, pack up your stuff. We need to visit Grandma. 20 minutes later, we pulled into my mother's driveway. Dwayne's Tesla was still there, of course. He never missed a family gathering. There's my favourite nieces. Dwayne's voice boomed as we entered. He was sprawled on the couch, watching golf. Your mum finally remembered we exist, huh? We were busy, Emma said proudly. Mum's teaching us about artificial intelligence. The room went quiet. My mother appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. Luna, really? Filling their heads with complicated nonsense when they should be focusing on school? It's not nonsense, Lily protested. Mom's building something amazing. Dwayne laughed. Is she now? What's amazing about it, kiddo? Before I could stop her, Lily launched into an explanation. It's an app that can predict when computers are going to break. Mom says it could save companies millions of... Lily, I cut in sharply. But the damage was done. Dwayne sat up, his amusement fading. Is that so? And where exactly are you getting the data to train this magical AI? That's none of your business, I said, steering the girls toward the kitchen. Mom, do you have any leftovers from brunch? But Dwayne wasn't letting it go. He followed us, his golf game forgotten. Actually, it is my business, especially if you're planning to use any proprietary information. Not everything revolves around your company, Dwayne. Freya appeared in the doorway, sensing the tension. Hey, girls, want to help me check on the garden? After they left, Dwayne lowered his voice. Listen, Luna, playing around with code might be a fun hobby, but don't go getting serious ideas. The tech world isn't for amateurs. Funny, I said, meeting his eyes. That's exactly what your competitors said about you before you bought them out. His face darkened. Watch it, sister. You're out of your depth. My phone buzzed again. Ingrid. Major breakthrough. The prediction accuracy is at 94%. Call me ASAP. Luna, my mother interrupted. Speaking of depth, why don't you help Dwayne with his company's anniversary gala next month? You always had such a knack for planning parties. I gripped my phone tighter. Sorry, Mom, I'm a bit busy these days. Too busy for family? She shook her head. Ever since you started this computer thing, you're never around. What kind of example are you setting for your girls? A pretty good one, actually, Freya said, returning without the kids. She's showing them that mothers can be more than just party planners. Stay out of this, Freya, Dwayne warned. Or what? Freya challenged. You'll mansplain technology to me, too. My phone buzzed continuously now. Ingrid was calling. I need to take this, I said, stepping onto the back porch. Behind me, I could hear Dwayne and my mother's disapproving sighs. Luna! Ingrid's voice was electric with excitement. The algorithm just predicted a major server failure in our test environment 30 minutes before it happened. We're ready for real-world testing. I glanced through the window at Dwayne, who was now lecturing Freya about family loyalty. How soon can we launch? 2 weeks, maybe less, but Luna! We got another email from that venture capitalist. He wants to meet. My heart raced. The one who backed that billion-dollar startup last year? The same. He's heard rumors about what we're building. Says it could be exactly what the industry needs. Through the glass, I saw my daughters return from the garden, their faces lighting up when they saw me. Behind them, Dwayne was checking his phone, his expression growing increasingly concerned. "Set up the meeting," I said. "And Ingrid, let's accelerate the timeline. I want to launch before Dwayne's merger announcement." "That's in 3 weeks," she cautioned. "We'd be cutting it close." "Trust me," I said, watching my brother's frown deepen as he read something on his phone. "The timing needs to be perfect." I hung up just as Sarah, our family friend, rushed onto the back porch. "Luna, I've been trying to reach you, the predictive maintenance system at Dwayne's company. It's showing signs of imminent failure. Their current software can't identify the cause." I smiled, thinking of our algorithm's 94% accuracy rate. How unfortunate for them. Sarah's eyes widened with understanding. "Your app? It could prevent this, couldn't it?" "It could," I agreed. "But something tells me my brother isn't ready to admit he needs his little sister's help." Inside, I could hear Dwayne barking orders into his phone. For once, I was glad to be invisible. It meant no one noticed my satisfied smile as I watched chaos unfold in the shallow end of the pool. The venture capitalist's office screamed success, all glass and chrome with a view of the bay. Marcus, the man himself, leaned back in his chair, staring at our demo with an intensity that made my palms sweat. "Run it again," he said. Ingrid nodded, restarting the simulation. On the massive screen, our AI predicted 3 system failures in a complex network, highlighting them in red before they occurred. "Impressive," Marcus said, standing up. "But I need to know, how did you get such accurate predictions with limited data?" Before I could answer, my phone lit up. Emma's school. I declined the call, but it immediately rang again. "Take it," Ingrid said. "I'll explain the technical details." I stepped out into the hallway. "Hello? Mrs. Kelly? Emma had a panic attack during her presentation. She's asking for you." My heart sank. "I'll be right there." Back in the conference room, Marcus was nodding enthusiastically at Ingrid's explanation. "The pattern recognition is revolutionary. With proper backing, this could—" "I have to go," I cut in. "Family emergency." His expression shifted. "Mrs. Kelly, while I appreciate family commitments, this level of investment requires—" "My daughter needs me," I said firmly. "Ingrid can handle the technical questions. I'll be back in an hour." I caught Ingrid's supportive nod as I rushed out, but Marcus's frown followed me to the elevator. At school, I found Emma curled up in the nurse's office, her science project poster crumpled beside her. "Baby, what happened?" She looked up, tears streaking her face. "I was telling the class about your app, about how it helps computers. But Tyler said I was lying. He said his dad works for Uncle Dwayne and that you're just a mom who plays with computers." My chest tightened. "Tyler's dad works for your uncle? He's Mr. Percy from the Christmas party," she sniffled. "He said you're trying to hurt Uncle Dwayne's company." Percy. Of course. Dwayne's right-hand man would be feeding his kid propaganda. "Emma, look at me," I said, wiping her tears. "What we're building isn't about hurting anyone. It's about proving that everyone deserves a chance to create something important. Even mums who play with computers." My phone buzzed. "Ingrid, Marcus is interested. Very interested. Where are you?" Then another text from Freya. "Emergency family dinner tonight. Dwayne's making some big announcement. Mom says attendance non-negotiable." "Can we go home?" Emma asked. "I don't want to see Tyler again today." I looked at my daughter's tear-stained face, then at the messages on my phone. "How about we make a deal? We'll go home, get cleaned up, and then show everyone exactly what your mom can do." Back at the venture capitalist's office, Emma sat quietly in the corner with her tablet while I finished the presentation. Marcus was still there, along with 2 other investors. "The market potential is clear," Marcus said, "but your brother's company is announcing a competing product next week." I felt Emma tense behind me. "No, they're not," I said confidently. "They're announcing a merger. One that depends on their current systems working perfectly for the next month." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "And you know this how?" "Because I know my brother, and I know his systems better than he thinks I do." Mom, Emma called out. Uncle Dwayne's company is trending on Twitter. We all turned to look at her tablet. The headlines were brutal. Major system failure at tech giant. Customers report widespread outages. My phone exploded with notifications. Freya, you need to get to Mom's now. Dwayne is losing it. If you'll excuse me, I said to Marcus. I believe my family needs me. He stood up, extending his hand. We'll have the paperwork ready tomorrow. 5 million in initial funding. Emma's eyes went wide. Mom, that's just the beginning, I finished, shaking Marcus's hand. The drive to my mother's house was tense. Emma kept refreshing Twitter, reading out updates about Dwayne's company's meltdown. We walked into chaos. Dwayne was pacing the living room, shouting into his phone. Percy was there too, looking pale. This is sabotage, Dwayne was saying. Find out who's responsible. My mother rushed to hug Emma. Luna, where have you been? Your brother needs family support right now. Actually, I said, loud enough to cut through the noise, what he needs is a better predictive maintenance system. The room fell silent. Percy's eyes narrowed. Like the one you've been developing? Exactly like that, I replied, pulling out my tablet. The same one that predicted this failure 3 days ago. Dwayne's face went from red to purple. You knew? You knew this would happen and you didn't say anything? Like you said, brother, some people need to stay in the shallow end of the pool. I met his gaze. But sometimes, the shallow end is where you find the cracks in the foundation. Emma stepped forward, her voice small but clear. Mom's app could fix everything, Uncle Dwayne, if you'd just listen to her. The room held its breath as Dwayne looked from his niece to me, his company crumbling around him, his perfect image shattering like the systems he'd failed to protect. How much? He finally asked. I smiled, thinking of Marcus's offer. Oh, brother, we're way past that now. Tech's newest rising star, the stay-at-home mom taking Silicon Valley by storm. The headline glared from my laptop screen as Ingrid paced our new office, fielding calls from reporters. No, she's not available for comment right now, she said for the 100th time. Yes, we'll be at the tech conference next week. No, we're not discussing the rumors about TechVance's system failures. I closed the laptop, my head spinning. In just 3 days, our app had gone from secret project to viral sensation. Marcus's investment had made headlines, and our waiting list for beta testing was growing by the hour. Mom! Lily burst into the office, waving her phone. You're trending on TikTok! Some girl made a video about you showing up her dad who said women can't code. Wonderful, I muttered, just as my mother's number flashed on my screen. I let it go to voicemail. Luna, Ingrid said, covering her phone's microphone. Percy's here. He's demanding to see you. Send him in. I straightened my jacket, grateful I'd chosen to wear my power suit today. Percy stormed in, his usual polished appearance slightly frayed. This has gone far enough, Luna. You need to stop this media circus before it destroys your brother's company. Funny, I said, keeping my voice level. I don't remember Dwayne worrying about destroying other companies when he was buying them out. This is different. This is family. Yes, it is. I stood up, and family should have recognized my potential instead of dismissing it. Mom, Lily tugged at my sleeve. Uncle Dwayne's on TV again. We all turned to the mounted screen where Dwayne was giving an emergency press conference. He looked tired, his usual confidence cracking around the edges. While we acknowledge the recent technical difficulties, TechVance remains committed to providing the highest quality service to our clients. He's drowning, Percy said quietly. Your little revenge project is working. Happy now? Before I could respond, Sarah burst into the office. Luna, you need to see this. Someone leaked internal emails from TechVance. They knew about the system vulnerabilities months ago but covered them up. My blood ran cold. What? It's all over Twitter. The timestamps, the warning signs, everything. Sarah pulled up the feeds on her tablet. They ignored multiple red flags because fixing the issues would have delayed the merger. Percy's face went ash white. Those emails were confidential. They were negligent, I corrected. And now everyone knows it. My phone buzzed again. Freya, turn on Channel 7 now. The news anchor's voice filled the room. Breaking news about TechVance's corporate practices. Sources claim the company's leadership, including CEO Dwayne Kelly, deliberately ignored warnings about system vulnerabilities. In related news, former employee Luna Kelly's new predictive maintenance app has been hailed as a potential solution to prevent such catastrophic failures. "Mum," Lily whispered. "You're famous." Percy stepped closer, his voice low. "Call off the dogs, Luna. Work with us. We can make this beneficial for everyone. Like Dwayne made things beneficial for me." I gestured to the screen where his press conference was imploding. "By treating me like a hobby coder playing house?" "You've made your point," he pleaded. "But this isn't just about Dwayne anymore. Thousands of jobs are at stake." My phone lit up with another call, this time from Marcus. "The tech conference wants you to give the keynote speech," he said when I answered. "They're bumping Dwayne from the slot." I looked at Percy's desperate face, at my daughter's proud expression, at Ingrid's questioning glance. "Tell them I'll do it," I said to Marcus. "But I have one condition." After hanging up, I turned to Percy. "Tell my brother I want a meeting, tonight, just the two of us. And if he refuses, then I'll tell my story at the keynote. All of it, including how TechVance's CEO treated his own sister's technological innovations." Percy left quickly, already dialing Dwayne's number. Ingrid waited until the door closed before speaking. "Are you sure about this? We have them on the ropes. We could..." "Could what?" I interrupted. "Destroy my brother's company? Watch him crash and burn?" I looked at Lily, still clutching her phone with its viral videos. "What kind of example would that set?" "The kind that shows consequences," Ingrid argued. "No," I said, watching another news segment about TechVance's failures. "The kind that perpetuates a cycle of revenge. There has to be a better way." My phone buzzed one final time. Dwayne. "Fine. Meeting at 8. The old diner where Dad used to take us." I smiled, remembering the countless Sunday mornings we'd spent there as kids, dreaming about changing the world through technology, before competition and pride got in the way, before the shallow end became a weapon instead of a starting point. "Mum?" Lily's voice pulled me back. "Are you going to help Uncle Dwayne?" I hugged her close, watching the chaos unfold on multiple screens. "No, sweetie. I'm going to help himself. Sometimes that's the best revenge of all." The neon sign of Joe's diner flickered in the evening darkness, just like it had 20 years ago. Dwayne was already there, occupying our old booth by the window, looking smaller somehow without his usual corporate armor. "You're late," he said as I slid into the seat across from him. "Actually, I'm right on time." I picked up the menu, though we both knew it hadn't changed in decades. "Still getting the blueberry pancakes?" "Cut the small talk, Luna." He pushed a stack of papers across the table. "Here's our offer. Full acquisition of your app, plus a senior position at TechVance." I didn't even glance at the papers. "No. It's a generous offer. More than generous, considering..." "Considering what?" I set down the menu. "Considering I'm just playing house? Or considering your company is hemorrhaging clients while mine is trending on social media?" The waitress appeared, coffee pot in hand. "Well, if it isn't the Kelly kids, your usual orders." "Yes," we said simultaneously, then glared at each other. After she left, Dwayne leaned forward. "What do you want, Luna? Revenge? Public humiliation? Because you're getting both." "I want what I've always wanted: recognition, respect, a seat at the table that isn't in the kids' section." "You walked away from the table," he snapped. "You chose to be a mother instead of..." "Instead of what? A real professional?" "Newsflash, Dwayne. I never stopped being an engineer. I just added mom to my skill set." The waitress returned with our orders. Blueberry pancakes for him, chocolate chip for me. Just like when we were kids and Dad would bring us here after his night shifts. "Remember what Dad used to say?" I asked, cutting into my pancakes. "About how technology should bring people together, not drive them apart." Dwayne's fork paused halfway to his mouth. "Don't bring him into this." "Why not? He's the reason we both went into tech. The difference is, I stayed true to his vision while you got lost in corporate politics." "I built an empire." "You built a house of cards," I corrected. "And now it's falling because you forgot the most basic principle of engineering. Always check your foundation." His phone buzzed. More bad news, judging by his expression. The merger's falling apart, he admitted. Our stock is in free fall. I know. I pulled out my tablet and pulled up our app's interface. But it doesn't have to be. What do you mean? I turned the screen toward him. This is a live simulation of your network. See these red spots? Their potential failure points are AI identified. And these green paths? They're solution roadmaps. Dwayne studied the screen, his engineer's mind engaging despite himself. The prediction accuracy is remarkable. It should be. I used all those late-night coding sessions with Dad as inspiration. Remember how he taught us to think of networks as living organisms? With interconnected systems that need to work in harmony, he finished, a ghost of a smile crossing his face. He would have loved this. He would have loved seeing us work together on it. Dwayne looked up sharply. Together? I nodded. I don't want to destroy TechVance, Dwayne. I want to transform it, not as your employee, but as your partner. A partnership? He laughed, but it wasn't his usual condescending chuckle. The board would never approve. The board doesn't have a choice. Your company needs my technology, and my company needs your infrastructure. But more importantly, I reached across the table and tapped his phone, where another crisis notification was flashing. Your little sister needs to know her big brother still believes in her. The waitress appeared with fresh coffee. You two remind me so much of your father right now, she said, filling our cups. He always said his kids would change the world someday. After she left, Dwayne was quiet for a long moment. You really think we could work together? After everything? I think we have to try. For Dad. For my daughters. For all the other little girls who are told to stay in the shallow end. He picked up the acquisition papers and slowly tore them in half. Freya's going to love this. She always said we were stronger together than apart. Speaking of Freya, I checked my phone. She's been texting me updates about Mum's reaction to all this. Apparently, she's finally telling everyone about her own secret coding project. Dwayne nearly choked on his coffee. Mom codes? Where do you think we got it from? Dad may have inspired us, but Mom was the one debugging his programs late at night. For the first time in years, my brother's genuine laugh filled the diner. We really don't know everything about our family, do we? No, I smiled, pulling up a new contract on my tablet, one for a true partnership. But maybe it's time we learned. As we sat there hammering out details over cooling pancakes, I realized this was better than revenge. This was redemption, for both of us. The boardroom was packed. Every executive from TechVance sat on one side, their faces a mix of skepticism and barely concealed hostility. On my side sat Ingrid, Marcus, and our legal team. Dwayne stood at the head of the table, looking more nervous than I'd ever seen him. The terms are simple, he began. A full merger between TechVance and Luna's company, with shared leadership and— This is absurd, Percy interrupted, standing up. We're talking about giving half our company to a startup that's barely 6 months old? A startup that predicted and could have prevented our recent catastrophic failures, Dwayne countered. Which they suspiciously knew about in advance, Percy shot back, glaring at me. I stood up slowly. Would you like to see exactly how we knew? I brought receipts. Opening my laptop, I projected our data onto the wall screen. These are your system logs from the past year. Every warning sign, every red flag, every potential failure point that you ignored. Our AI didn't just predict the failures, it mapped your entire history of negligence. The room erupted in murmurs. Percy's face turned red. Those logs are confidential. This is corporate espionage. Actually, Sarah spoke up from the back of the room, as head of data management, I authorized Luna's access months ago. It's all documented. Percy whirled on her. You betrayed us? No, Sarah said firmly. I protected us. Someone had to. Enough! Dwayne's voice cut through the chaos. The merger isn't up for debate. The only question is whether you're all smart enough to be part of it. Just then, the door burst open. My mother walked in, followed by Freya. Mom? Dwayne and I said simultaneously. What are you doing here? She straightened her jacket, not her usual floral dress, but a sharp business suit. I'm here to vote my shares. Or did you both forget that your father left me 30% of Tech Vance? The room went silent. Percy sank back into his chair. Mum, Dwayne started, you've never shown interest in company decisions before. Because you never asked, she said, taking a seat at the table. Too busy assuming I was just the little woman who packed your lunches and planned your parties. She turned to me, her eyes twinkling. Sound familiar, dear? I couldn't help but laugh. Like mother, like daughter? Exactly. She pulled out her own laptop. Now, about those system vulnerabilities, I've been running some diagnostics of my own. You what? Percy sputtered. Oh, yes, Freya grinned. Who do you think taught us to code in the first place? Dad may have been the face of the family's tech adventures, but Mom was the real genius behind the scenes. My mother projected her own analysis, which perfectly matched our AI's predictions. The merger isn't just a good idea, it's essential for survival. Luna's innovation combined with Tech Vance's infrastructure could revolutionize the industry. And if we refuse? Percy challenged. Then I'll vote my shares in favor of new management, she said simply. Starting with you, Percy. The room erupted again, but this time with different energy. Board members who had been glaring at me were now nodding thoughtfully, looking between their screens and my mother's presentation. I move to vote, Sarah called out. Seconded, came another voice. As the votes were tallied, I felt Ingrid squeeze my hand under the table. We did it, she whispered. The final count was overwhelming. 89% in favor of the merger. Percy stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Well, Dwayne said, looking slightly shell-shocked, I guess we're really doing this. Yes, we are, I agreed, standing up to shake his hand. Partners. Partners, he echoed, then pulled me into an unexpected hug. I'm sorry, Luna, for everything. Save it for the press conference, I whispered back. We've got a better story to tell now. As the room cleared out, my mother stayed behind, still typing on her laptop. The system integration should be relatively straightforward, she said casually. I've already drafted a framework. Mom, I said, sitting beside her. Why didn't you ever tell us? She smiled, closing her laptop. Sometimes the best way to support others is to let them find their own path. I knew you'd figure it out eventually, both of you. But all those years watching Dwayne and me fight taught you both valuable lessons. Him about humility, you about persistence. She stood up, straightening her suit. Now, who's hungry? I hear Joe's Diner has excellent pancakes. Dwayne laughed from the doorway. Some things never change. No, my mother said, looking between us with pride. But some things change for the better. As we left the boardroom, now a family again but stronger and wiser, I checked my phone. Emma had texted, Did you win, Mom? I smiled, typing back. We all did, baby. We all did. The revenge I'd sought had transformed into something far more powerful. Understanding. As we headed to the diner, I realized the shallow end of the pool had never been the problem. The problem was letting others define its depth. And now, to present our keynote on the future of predictive technology, please welcome Luna and Dwayne. I cut the announcer off, stepping onto the stage. Just Luna, please. I've earned the right to stand on my own. The conference hall erupted in applause. In the front row, Emma and Lily beamed, while my mother wiped away tears. Dwayne sat next to them, giving me a subtle thumbs up. Everyone loves a story about revenge, I began, pacing the stage, the underdog rising up, the mighty falling. But today I want to talk about something more powerful than revenge, recognition. The screen behind me lit up with our app's interface, now integrated seamlessly with Tech Vance's systems. This technology wasn't born from corporate competition or market analysis. It was born at my kitchen table, between helping with homework and making dinner. I clicked to the next slide, showing a photo of my daughters testing the beta version. Innovation doesn't care where you work. It doesn't care if you're in a corner office or a home office. It only cares if you're brave enough to challenge the status quo. Movement at the back of the hall caught my eye. Percy slipped in, looking uncomfortable but determined. He'd called earlier, asking to rejoin the company in a reduced role. His humility had surprised me. When we launched our merger last week, people called it a corporate fairy tale. David and Goliath joining forces. I smiled at Dwayne. But they missed the point. This isn't about little versus big or home versus office. It's about recognizing that innovation can come from anywhere. The next slide showed my mother's original coding projects from the 1980s. Sometimes the most powerful code runs silently in the background, unrecognized, but essential. Like the women who taught themselves programming while their children slept, or the mothers who debug systems between soccer practices. In the audience, Sarah nodded, thinking of all the times she'd protected the company from itself. Beside her, Freya gave me a proud smile. Our merged company isn't just combining technologies, I continued. We're combining perspectives, the view from the corner office and the view from the kitchen table, because sometimes you need both to see the complete picture. I clicked to my final slide, a simple photo of our family at Joe's Diner, taken just yesterday. The shallow end of the pool isn't a limitation. It's a foundation, and I'm grateful to everyone who tried to keep me there, because it taught me how to build something deeper. The applause was deafening, but I wasn't finished. Which brings me to our latest announcement. Tech Vance Luna is launching a scholarship program for parent programmers, because no one should have to choose between raising a family and raising the bar in tech. Emma jumped up, cheering. Lily whistled with her fingers, a trick Ingrid had taught her. Even Percy was clapping. After the presentation, we gathered in the green room. Dwayne approached with 2 coffee cups, blueberry pancake flavoured, our dad's favourite. Not bad for a hobby coder, he said, handing me a cup. Not bad for a corporate sellout, I replied, grinning. Our mother joined us, still in her business suit. Your father would be so proud, not of the success, though that's nice too, but of how you both finally learned to see each other clearly. Speaking of seeing clearly, Ingrid called from the doorway, the new system just predicted another potential failure in the Asian markets, but this time we caught it early. On it, Dwayne and I said simultaneously, then laughed. I'll handle it, he said. You've got 2 very excited daughters waiting to celebrate with their tech superhero mom. They're waiting for both of us, I corrected. Their uncle the CEO and their mom the innovator. The whole family's going to Joe's Diner. The whole family, my mother repeated softly, taking both our hands. Finally. As we walked out together, reporters clamoured for attention. Luna, how does it feel to go from stay-at-home mum to tech pioneer? I stopped, looking at my daughter's proud faces. I didn't go from one to the other. I've always been both. The world just wasn't ready to see it until now. Emma tugged at my sleeve. Mom, Tyler from school wants to know if he can join your coding camp this summer, the one for kids whose parents work in tech. Of course he can, I said, catching Percy's grateful look from across the room. Everyone's welcome in the shallow end. That's where all the best ideas start. Later at the diner, surrounded by family, friends, and endless plates of pancakes, I watched Dwayne teaching Lily about system architecture while my mother debugged code with Ingrid. Emma sat between them, soaking it all in, her future unlimited by anyone's expectations. More coffee, boss? The waitress asked with a wink. Just Luna, I corrected her, smiling. I'm not anyone's boss. I'm just a mum who codes. And that, Freya said, raising her coffee cup, is exactly what makes you a boss. We clinked our cups together, celebrating not the revenge I'd sought, but the recognition I'd found, not just from others, but from myself. Sometimes the sweetest victory isn't in proving others wrong, but in proving yourself right.